I thank you so much, sir, for making us all a part of this CME and especially the reverence we all have towards Professor C.R. Bidri, sir. I started my day today by visiting the Linga temple in your own campus. Mahadev has 7 words or 7 alphabets. The temple that you have has 777 Shivalingas inside the Linga temple. Shivaji is 7 alphabets. Sambhaji is 7 alphabets. 7 people who belong to Hyderabad, including your resident Anil Kumar, travel to be a part of this CME on oncology. And so it possibly seems that you're in sevens today. For instance, science is what we're going to talk and deliberate today, also has 7 alphabets, and we're going to focus on tumors, both benign and malignant. Tumors also have 7 alphabets. BM Patil, which is what this medical college is named after again, has 7 alphabets. And so does CR Bidri and RC Bidri. So with that, therefore, I thought that since I started my day with Mahadev, so let me greet you all with Har Har Mahadev. In life, you'll realize there's a purpose for every person you meet. Some are there to test you, some will use you, some will teach you, and some will bring out the best in you. And that's what this man does to his students. Dr. C.R. Bidri is a legacy, and if you can look at his degrees, that speaks volumes about this gentleman. The pride, the pleasure, the privilege and the prestige to be a part of this august gathering of my doctor colleagues from this part of my country remains entirely mine. It's an honor beyond imagination that I am here to be called as a chief guest. If I am standing on this podium talking to all of you, addressing you as a guest of honor on this special occasion, then that credit goes entirely to your Indivar Kiran, who is an alumnus of this institution and sir student, who now happens to be the director of the entire Renova group of hospitals. More than that, Indivar Kiran is an elder brother, a philosopher, a mentor, and a guiding force from me all the way from 12th June 2004. So it's a bond between us which spans more than 2 decades. I remain indebted to him for eternity. So since it's CR Bidri, I'll also end up by giving you 7 facets of this personality. He was a dreamer. And his dream was you should go to UK and settle there. And in fact, after reading this book, which was given to me as his legacy, I learned so many things about him, which has taught me 7 ways how we all should, as medical doctors, be of use to society and how we should carry ourselves in the society. A dream as a medical oncologist will come true if I can offer tailored treatment to my patient. Every patient is unique, has a unique set of tumor, and that itself has some genomic aberrations. And therefore, we talk about precision oncology or precision medicine, targeting precisely that patient's particular cancer and not cancer as an empirical treatment. And so we talk about alliance, and that's when East meets West. Vivekananda, a magnificent mind and roaring spirit, once when somebody from the West, a British, asked him, why can't you wear proper clothes to look like a gentleman? The answer was, in your culture, tailor makes a gentleman. In our culture, character makes a gentleman. And that character of Professor C.R. Bidri is what this book highlights. And you can't form it in a week or a month. It's created little, day by day. Protracted and patient effort is needed to develop good character. So that character of C.R. Bidri is awesome and amazing. In section 2, this man is Paul Ehrlich. He was a microbe hunter. He's the father of chemotherapy. And at that time, syphilis was rampant. And he was on his way to find out if I can find out some way to target the syphilis bacteria but still cause no harm to the host who's harboring that infection. Something like selective toxicity, toxic to the disease, but not at all toxic to the human who is having the disease. Maximal efficacy against the disease, but to the patient, minimal toxicity. And that's how he came with the concept of a magic bullet. At that time, arsenic compounds, were active against syphilis. But he had to find out the right arsenical which can kill the syphilis bacteria but still cause no harm to the host who has the disease. And so ultimately he came up with a drug by the name arsphenamine, the trade name being salvarsan. And that gave him the Nobel Prize. It's also called as arsenic compound 606. What does that tell you? He failed 605 times to find out the right arsenical which can kill the syphilis bacteria, still cause no harm to the host who's having the infection. A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Perseverant efforts ultimately gave the right arsenic compound 606. As much as talent counts, effort counts twice. C.R. Bidri, sir, is a legacy of resilience, and that is a choice. It's choosing to rise above your circumstances, no matter how difficult, and become the person you are meant to be. That's the second facet of Professor C.R. Bidri, sir, resilience. We come to section 3. रईस is a film of Shah Rukh Khan where he tells us अम्मी जान कहती थी कोई धंधा छोटा नहीं होता और धंधे से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं होता. No job is small and there's no religion bigger than your job. But for some, their profession or job becomes an obsession, greed, lust, show of strength, or demonstration of power. To give you some examples, Adolf Hitler, Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein. This man, he's back with a bang, and him too, the leader of North Korea. Not so long back, both these two were engaged in a war of words, which could very well have turned into a war of nuclear weapons. Fortunately, it didn't happen, but even a facial transplant will not change much. Their actions and words are replete with anger, hatred, jealousy, discontent, disharmony, and destruction. Now, the achievements and accomplishments of these powerful people completely fade. They turn pale. They become insignificant when you look at this lady. She stands tall, and their stature diminishes. To your right is strength, but to your left is faith. We need strength while doing the possible. We need faith while doing the impossible. Mother Teresa tells us, God has not called me to be successful. He called me to be faithful. Be faithful to your patients. Don't aim to be a successful doctor. Success will follow automatically. Cure with passion when I get a curable cancer. But if I can't cure it, the least I can do is care with compassion. And that's the mantra in oncology practice. Cure with passion, otherwise care with compassion, empathy, and sympathy. That's what your patients and their family members need. And this is again an abstract from this book only. Very apt for Dr. C.R. Bidri's Vaidyo Narayano Hari, serving patients with the utmost care. Isha Seva. His nature was warm and affable. Benevolence describes this humane doctor. Angels are all around us every day. Notice them and realize the malevolence of life. In section 4, civilizations like Egyptian civilization, like the Indus Valley civilization, and then of course you have Gandhi's definition of civilization, focusing especially on non-violence. And you know what? There's nothing passive about ahimsa. It's one of the strongest ways to actively resist aggression. One of the strongest ways to resist aggression is to practice non-violence. A civilized person is someone who is polite, courteous, and behaves in a calm and reasonable manner. So that's a civilized person. So what does civilized mean? It's a definition of three words. Civilization is a conglomeration of inhibitions. You inhibit yourself, the more civilized you become. As an example, for instance, we all sometimes try to lose our patience. Sometimes we get angered. But civilization is a conglomeration of inhibitions. If you are not in the right frame of mind in your clinical practice, and these days sometimes we have to give phone numbers to all your patients, and if the patient calls or the family calls, you are in right frame of mind, don't answer the phone call. There's no point of getting angry at that time. Call again afterwards when you think you are at peace to answer him politely. Otherwise, don't pick up the phone call. I think that's the clinical example I would want you to all practice in your day-to-day life. So this man is an inspiring force to develop interpersonal relationship, and that relationship with your patient should go to the next level. And so inculcate inhibitions. Civilization is a conglomeration of inhibitions. 5. Knowledge is power. Choose to become extraordinary, because then you can deal with that person every minute of every day. What happens? We, after the 11th and 12th class, the cream of the society chooses to become a medical doctor. And so everybody is intelligent. All the intelligence people only come to learn medicine and then go on to become doctors. What turns a good doctor into an extraordinary doctor is the extra you put into it. If somebody is studying 12 hours in a day, and if you study 14 hours a day, that extra will definitely give some difference. So, what turns the ordinary into the extraordinary is the extra you put into it. Intelligence is one aspect, diligence, hard work is the other aspect. There is no barrier to success which diligence and perseverance cannot hurdle. So that diligence is what his life teaches you all. Sixth, thinking distinguishes us from animals and creatures. And our professors in medicine always teach us, Davidson tells us, the eyes do not see what the mind does not know. In other words, eyes are useless when the mind is blind. The supreme art of teacher is to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. We should love to enjoy the subject what you choose, and that purpose is what a teacher comes with when he talks to his students. Exemplified greatly by, of course, C.R. Bidri sir and his son R.C. Bidri sir too. Your patients are your best teachers is what his lines were. Read, go back to rounds. Again read, go back to rounds. Again read, go back to rounds. And then knowledge is power. With great power comes great responsibility. So be responsible to the society. That's what C.R. Bidri teaches us. When you think everything is someone's fault, you'll suffer a lot. When everything springs only from yourself, you'll learn both peace and joy. He always had a smiling face, at peace with himself, within himself, and with others too. Lastly, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. The 6 attributes I told to you of C.R. Bidri sir. If these years have taught me anything, it's this: you can never run away, not ever. The only way out is in. At the end of a hard day's work, when you go back to hit the pillow and then close your eyes and think how the whole day went, probably you then learn the art of introspection. I should probably have not been angry to that person at that time. I should have spent some more time with the family rather than rushing through for the rounds or for some CME or for some lecture. And so you ask yourself this one-liner daily when you hit the bed in the pillow. Introspection. Would you like you if you met you? Would you like you if you met you? And then you become a more better person the next day morning. But be better you were than you were yesterday. So that's introspection. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, C.R. Bidri for you all. The C, character. R, Resilience. B. Benevolence. Inculcate inhibitions. Civilization is a conglomeration of inhibitions. Diligence. Intelligence is there, but diligence is more important. Be responsible to your patient, their family, and the society, and learn to introspect. Would you like you if you met you? So that's the legacy which the son and the daughters and the sons and daughters and the whole college is carrying forward. With that, let me end by telling Jai Shivaji, Jai Ho Sambaji, Jai Chandrasekhara, Jai Chhawa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for those encouraging words.